All right, everyone, welcome to Chapter 7 of the Formative Frontiers Student Leadership Project. This video was personally requested to me by a fellow member, which is why I'm making this. Remember, the Student Leadership Project is an ever-growing collection of videos that I make or that others make with inspired ideas. I want this to be the definitive guide with so many resources for you guys that it doesn't end. That's what I want my project to be, a starting point for you to jump off of. Right now, this is the last video I have planned out, but that doesn't mean this is the last video you'll see from my channel or from me. So let's get started into how we can scale clubs, nonprofits, or any business outside of the school realm, the small team realm where you're only dealing with a few individuals. All right. As a student leader, it's obviously essential to think beyond the confines of your school or your small team to maximize your impact. Expanding horizons not only enhances your current projects, but also prepares you for future endeavors, and also just looks great on college applications. So here's how you can scale your efforts beyond those confines. One of the most valuable skills that I've used to expand my club, my nonprofit, or any business that I've achieved before is cold emailing. This might seem daunting at first, and it definitely was for me. But more and more, doing it over and over again just made it easier. And it's definitely a powerful tool because you can reach out to potential collaborators, sponsors, mentors, etc. These people can help elevate your project. They have experience, they have connections, and they have information. A well-crafted cold email should be concise, respectful, and to the point. Off the book, some advice that I give to people writing emails is to use ChatGPT to check over the email. Don't use it to write the email, it has this weird tone. Instead, write the email yourself, but then use ChatGPT to, with these words, concise, respectful, and to the point, use that prompt to make the email better. And obviously, start with a clear, engaging subject line that piques interest. In the body of the email, introduce yourself and your organization briefly. Explain why you're reaching out, and highlight how a collaboration or partnership could be mutually beneficial. Always end with a clear call to action, whether it's scheduling a meeting or asking for specific advice. This incentivizes them to respond to your message because you've now entrusted them with some sort of responsibility or task. And always remember that the goal is to open a door into more communication with them. Keep it professional. Don't be discouraged by lack of response. These are probably very busy individuals that don't really have that time for you. So just try again, try reaching out again after a time period. See if there's other methods of communication like LinkedIn, text, call, etc. Or just try reaching out to other people who might also have that same responsibility. For my nonprofit, we volunteer in schools, and multiple schools obviously don't respond to us. What we try to do is try to reach out to multiple faculty members in those schools and just spread our wings and reach out to lots of schools so that we at least hit one and we can spread our knowledge. Persistence and patience are key. It won't happen overnight, and it won't happen with the first email you send. So use this as a learning process for bigger and better cold emailing. And remember, emailing is one of the biggest skills that you'll use later on in any job you go to, because that's how you're going to be communicating with most of your future teammates, most of your future bosses and group leaders, etc. So learn this skill and it will be helpful for the rest of your life. Event planning. All right, that's another critical skill that definitely enhances your leadership portfolio. Whether you're organizing a small team meeting or a large school-wide event, hint, the large school-wide event is probably better for your portfolio, the principles remain the same. Attention to detail, organization, and effective communication. If you remember our previous video on how to do meetings, literally just export that to a bigger scale. That's why we make these meetings so meticulous. If you thought you watched that video and were like, yeah, that's a little too much for such a small meeting, the reason why is so that you can learn those skills at a smaller scale and then implement them at a bigger one. What I like to do is start by defining the purpose of the event, the goals I want to achieve. I once led a student versus teacher debate, in our school. And for this, I had to, one, plan the event, right? I had to define what I wanted the event to be, and I had to select a venue. That was easy, it was just my school. Choose the speakers, again, a little easy. I used the previous skill of cold emailing teachers and faculty and administration to, one, approve the event, get individuals interested, teachers interested in the debate, and then have event follow-up. So I had to figure out the date, the time, when it would work. And obviously logistics is a huge part of it. And that's why planning meetings matters. I had that experience that I needed to plan this big event because I'd run a lot of other meetings before, right? With my clubs and everything. So I knew, all right, here's what I need to do to make sure that this event runs efficiently as possible. I didn't have team members for this event. I low-key arranged this myself, but do it with team members. It makes it so much easier. Delegate responsibilities based on their strengths. Have these check-ins to make sure everyone's on the same page. Distribute that responsibility. Don't carry that load on yourself. And the ability to plan and execute this event boosts your organization's profile, but also builds your reputation as a capable leader. It gives you that ethos that you need because now you've just empirically run a W event. All right. And the last piece of advice that I have is find collaborators that already exist. One of the best ways to scale your effort is by partnering with existing groups or individuals who share your vision. There's a good chance that your mission, your vision, whatever it is, has already been done by some nonprofit, some NGO, some think tank, or some business. Rather than starting from scratch, look for organizations, clubs, or even local businesses in your area that align with your goal. What we've done for our economics and stocks and finance clubs are partner with personal finance corporations and nonprofits that are committed to teaching, college students how to deal with personal finances. We've had them come speak at our events and deliver lectures and presentations and have these fun collaborative events with these nonprofits. And now we're collaborating with them every year because we've developed this relationship with them by doing these events and by finding them as collaborators. We had to put all 3 steps together. We had to cold email them. Then we had to organize that event with them. We had to find the venue. Easy, again, it's just a room in our school. We still had to plan the logistics, the date, the time, when we could do it. And then we had to obviously find them in the first place. So maybe I should go in the first slide. But collaboration can take many forms. Co-hosting events, to join events, even sharing resources. By working together, you can amplify your impact, reach your broader audience, and bring fresh perspectives to your projects. Plus, collaboration often leads to long-term relationships like I just talked about. So even after you graduate, they can continue to benefit the school, the club, whatever, well after you're gone. Now, this video might be one of the shorter ones, but what I want to leave you with is it's easy to scale out, but what matters is taking that first step. I've definitely organized this a lot to clubs because that's what most of the audience that I'm catering to, they're running clubs. But let's say you're running a nonprofit or a business, you want to expand. I've given personal anecdotes from my nonprofit on how I cold emailed, how I organized events with these, schools so that we could volunteer there every week. But for businesses, it's definitely a little more complicated because you don't want to share your trade secrets. It's not more as much as it is about, finding and scaling beyond the school, but rather scaling the product and increasing profit incentives. That's definitely a case-by-case basis. But you can still use these tips to cold email people, cold email consumers, do sales, and find collaborators. By collaborators, I mean like corporations or businesses that you can partner with to expand your reputation, your name brand, and your goal. Now, when it comes to these 3 things, this is putting all of these skills we learned in previous videos into effect. We talked about communication, cold emailing. We talked about planning meetings. Yeah, just export that to a larger scale and you got huge events now. We talked about how to deal with team members effectively. Right, now once you know how and you have a very cohesive team environment with a team culture that values accountability, now you can plan these large events without fearing that something's going to go wrong because you trust in these teammates. Leadership is definitely a journey in that you need to learn all of the individual fundamentals first to get to doing these large things. I know that some of the individuals that I've interviewed to make this course, they tried just straight out of the bat doing the hardest parts, trying to organize large-scale events to boost their college applications or put on their resume or something. More often than not, it doesn't work because they don't have that type of foundation, that necessary, micro steps that they need to be able to pull off such a large event. And obviously, these resources that I've given you are key in that process. Now, I did mention that this was a fan-requested video. If you have any other requests for what you want me to cover, my experience or from people I've interviewed beforehand, let me know in the comments and I'll make a video on it, further explaining how leadership can be used in your school and how you can further your leadership journey. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, watch our other videos, recommend this channel, because there's lots of student leaders out there that need this more than you do. So thanks again, and subscribe, whatever.